Corpse cold. There was a group of medical students at Binghamton College that loathed one of their own, a popular and successful student named Natalie Zeitz. Roxy Gasaway hated Natalie. She was obsessed with the young woman, she made up rumors about Natalie, and badmouthed her to all her friends. Roxy wanted to hurt Natalie for taking the research position that she believed she had rightfully earned. Not only did Roxy resent Natalie for her superior position at their medical school, she had seen Natalie out with one of her ex boyfriends the weekend prior to spring break. It was Friday night in late April, and Roxy was plotting her revenge. She knew Dickie Green, who dated Natalie's roommate Jordan, also despised Natalie, likely because Natalie had turned him down for dates ever since they were undergrads at Geneseo State. So Dickie will get Jordan to stay in his room tonight. She can't know because she'll tell Miss Zitz, said Roxy, as she and her crew gathered in Dickie's room on the floor above Natalie's in their dormitory. While we're at the bar, Pete and Dave will get the cadaver from Dr. Stone's morgue and get it into Natalie's bed. Hopefully she'll be drunk enough to fall asleep with the stiff. Everyone laughed. Wait, Roxy, how are we supposed to get a dead body across the quad without campus security noticing? Asked Pete. And does Dickie have the key to Jordan and Natalie's room? Roxy sighed, handing a key to Pete. This is the residence director's key. It will open every room in the medical dorm. And I don't care how you plebs get the cadaver across campus and into her bed. You freaking figure it out. Third-year med students have access to just about everything in the Vanderwyck building. Body bags, stretchers. Heck, I'm sure Dave could just drive the student ambulance to the back door of the dorm. Dave nodded. We'll figure it out, Roxy. Nat's a bitch, and we're all in on this. Couldn't we just put a severed hand in her closet or an amputated leg under her pillow, said Kimmy, the final member of the group. A cadaver could get messy, and it might be a felony. Roxy interrupted Kimmy. Stop! All you have to do is keep Natalie drinking with you at the Belmar after Dickie takes Jordan home with him. Kimmy eventually relented, giving in to her overbearing best friend, and they set Roxy's plan in motion. That evening around 9 p.m., Natalie and Jordan left for their usual Friday night hangout, the Belmar bar. They drank and talked with guys and other medical students for hours before Dickie arrived. Sorry, Nat, I owe him one, said Jordan, winking at her best friend. Keep it safe, girl, laughed Natalie. She watched Jordan leave with her boyfriend, a guy she despised for putting her in many uncomfortable situations over the years. Natalie finished her drink and was about to leave when Kimmy grabbed her by the arm. Hey, wait, Nat, said Kimmy. Let's get a drink and catch up. Natalie hesitated, looking around. She knew Kimmy from high school, but she was also wary of the girl, as she hadn't really spoke to her since she became close friends with Roxy Gasaway. Is Roxy around? Kimmy shook her head. Okay then, let's drink. The girls talked of high school and what had become of old mutual friends. Kimmy seemed genuine enough to Natalie that she let her guard down, and Natalie drank more than she had intended to. It was well after midnight by the time the girls left the bar. They walked back to the medical dorm together and parted ways in the stairwell, as they lived on different floors. Natalie unlocked her door and didn't even bother flipping on the lights, stumbling into her room. She undressed, got into bed, and fell right to sleep. Roxy, Pete, and Dave intercepted Kimmy as she came up the stairs. The body is in place, stated Roxy giddily. Let's all go down and wait for her to lose her shit. The foursome hurried down the stairs and hung out in the student lounge, which was within earshot of Natalie's room. They waited a few minutes in silence, anticipating the climax of their complicated plan. After 20 minutes had passed, Roxy began to get antsy. Are you too sure you put the cadaver in the right room? Yeah, we're not exactly idiots, whispered Pete. Roxy took the key and went out to the hallway, while her friends watched from the lounge. She looked both ways, then went to Natalie's door, listening for a few minutes before unlocking it and peeking inside. Roxy then closed the door and returned to the lounge, visibly upset. You fuck-ups! You put the cadaver in Jordan's bed, said Roxy, visibly upset, but still trying to keep her voice low. Goddamn, Roxy, the guy was a fatty, said Pete. We must have got turned around. He was heavy and we were in a hurry. Shut up. Let's go back upstairs and figure this out, said Roxy. They went to Pete and Dave's room and talked over their options. Maybe we should just get the corpse and put it back, Roxy, said Kimmy. No, it's too late. We're already invested, and we're going to get this bitch back for wrecking my life, said Roxy. Dave really wanted to impress Roxy. He had an idea. Pete's got the sick hunting knife under his mattress. I'm listening, said Roxy. What if I go into Nat's room and act like I'm Ted Bundy, stabbing up co-eds in their beds? Roxy laughed. Fucking perfect, dude. Stab that fucking corpse and make her think you're stabbing her best friend. She'll shit her bed thinking she's next. They talked over the logistics for the next hour. Dave, dressed in black, put a knit cap on his head and a dark bandana over his face. They all returned to the lounge on the floor below and ready Dave for his murderous debut. Okay, no one's around. Keep the knife hidden and I'll lock the door. Go in and make fucking sure that you don't stab Natalie, said Roxy, pausing to think over the strategy and the inherent dangers within. Actually, she's probably sleeping pretty heavily, so shake her to wake her up, then go over and start stabbing the corpse. When she starts screaming, chase her out of the room with the knife and just run back upstairs to your room. Dave nodded. They were all a little scared, that is, everyone except for Roxy. She felt a small, dark bliss welling up from the pit of her stomach in anticipation of Natalie's reaction. Dave unlocked the door, entering quietly. The room was darker than he would have liked, but he could make out forms in each bed. He crept toward the bed on the left, like Roxy had said, and heard light snoring. He grabbed Natalie by the nape of her neck and shook her until he could make out the whites of her eyes from the little light that shone from the walkway lamps out on the quad. Natalie mumbled something as she awoke, and Dave got into position across the room at the foot of the other bed. She quietly turned over onto her elbow and stared at the dark form in her room. Before she could make a sound, Dave began stabbing at the body in the other bed, wildly thrusting into the corpse, watching for Natalie's reaction as the knife plunged in, the mattress below creaking. The young woman's screams were deafening, shrill-piercing, life-altering screams. Dave was startled, not quite expecting the intensity of Natalie's cries. He jumped up, forgetting about his plans to threaten Natalie, and ran from the room, now terrified of getting caught. Natalie didn't move. She continued screaming until the entire hall came to her door. Campus security was on the scene within minutes. They crawled everyone out into the quad while they figured out what was going on, assuming there was an active knife-wielding attacker on the premises. While the students milled about outside the dorm, Kimmy noticed a groggy Dickie stumbling out the front doors. She ran over to him and her friends saw and followed. Dickie, where's Jordan? Said Kimmy. Oh God, don't yell. My head's pounding, said Dickie. Roxy grabbed Dickie by his t-shirt and restated Kimmy's question. What? We had a fight and she went back to her room, said Dickie, smiling to himself, still intoxicated. She was being a real bitch, just like her roommate. Ha! Whatever happened with the cadaver and all that? No one responded. Roxy ran to the dorm entrance, but she was held back by a policeman. Nope, wait out here, sweetie, said the officer. Make way, make way. He pushed Roxy and her friends aside as two stretchers were brought out of the building. The first carried a rotund, lifeless corpse under a white sheet. The second held the body of a young woman who had been stabbed to death in her bed. Roxy began sobbing when she saw the blood-stained sheet over the girl on the second stretcher. She looked Natalie in the eye as Natalie walked past, accompanying her murdered roommate to the waiting ambulance. Roxy had gotten what she wanted. Natalie had been hurt, certainly traumatized, and would never again be the modeled student or person that Roxy had once detested.